What's up, y'all? Winnie here, and today we're going to be checking out, if I can say it right, I probably can't, In Solidarity with Zhu Lidao, Great Sage, Equal of Heaven. I have to assume this one's going to be at least Euclid. If this one is somehow also safe, then it must just be a book. It, it used to be keter, now it's safe. The containment procedures used to say 1474 is to be surrounded by at least 400 individual garlands composed of common daisies. Each individual garland must be composed of no fewer than 10,080 flowers. Not 10,000, 1080. And then it said, 2 level 1 foundation personnel fluent in Mandarin Chinese are to monitor 2 for potential changes and necessary containment procedures at all times. In the event of a breach, all air from the containment area is to be vented into an adjacent storage facility. Disposable dudes wearing self-contained breathing apparatus are to enter and enact new containment procedures. Should the necessary time for the enactment of new containment procedures exceed 1 hour, the containment area is to be vacated until all 3 have been successfully removed from the area. But now it says, it is kept in outdoor storage area 36, no attempt to enclose it is to be made. Description. SCP-1474 is an installation. I'm going to get the words right, I swear. An installation composed of 3 parts, numbered 1, 2, and 3. 1 is a mechanism contained within a standard 12 by 2.4 meter shipping container. The container has several hundred holes drilled into the top and sides, presumably to allow the escape of 3. 1 is constructed from wheels, pipes, gears, refrigerators, police tape, cogs, water coolers, and springs. It is capable of operating indefinitely without a power source. During operation, component pieces of 1 become impossible to break or harm. If a part of the object is removed during 1's passive state, the object continues to function regardless of the loss. If efforts to contain 1 are unsuccessful, or if its containment procedures change, it automatically begins to operate. It is not known how the object is able to detect changes in its environment, nor how its operation is capable of adapting to containment procedures. See Addendum 1474G87R for additional details. I don't know if it's going to be here, but that's what it says. 2 is a blank brand speaker affixed to the casing of 1. Attempts to activate it or locate an internal or external power source have been unsuccessful. 2 activates an average of once every 3 days. When active, it announces a new series of containment procedures in Mandarin Chinese. The conditions of the announcement must be met to maintain the passive state of 1. Immediately following the announcement of changing containment procedures, previous procedures for 1 cease to function and 1 begins operation. Following operation for more than 1 hour, 1 releases an aerosol composed of several compounds, including liquid polythene? I'm not trying to pronounce that right. Melamine formaldehyde, and polyvinyl chloride, designated 3, at a rate of 500 liters per second. Upon contact with a solid, it immediately condenses and forms a barrier around the surface of the object. When coated in a layer of 3, subjects have been immobilized in 100% of recorded instances. In the event of inhalation, 3 will coat the interior of the subject's lungs, leading to death by asphyxiation. Non-pulmonary exposure to 3 does not have any lasting adverse side effects, and the coating can be removed without significant injury. The means by which the components of 3 have been aerosolized is unknown. 1 and 2 appear immune to the effects of 3 and continue to function without incident in its presence. Review of security footage has revealed that 3 is not emitted by any one portion of 1, but rather comes from the object as a whole. Sorry. Selected former containment procedures. At some point, it was to be surrounded by a ring of 19 disposable dudes wearing People's Liberation Army uniforms and fitted with standard CDS collars. The last entry was also from the People's Liberation Army, and y'all said you had never heard of it, so what's up with that? Disposable dudes are to be instructed to sing the Chinese children's song Liang Ji Lao Hu and skip in time to the song. In the event of fatigue, the CDS collars are to deliver a dose of 3 mg of stimulant batch 87 to the jugular vein. Any disposable dudes attempting to break or leave the ring is to be terminated immediately. Remaining disposable dudes are to close the ring as quickly as possible and continue containment procedures. The next one was 1 disposable dude fluent in Mandarin Chinese and clad in a Chinese tunic suit, properly known as a Mao suit, is to enter the container for 1. The door to the container is to be closed and locked. The disposable dude is to narrate an account of their life from conception to death told in the first person. The narrative is to be embellished at every possible point, leaving only the most basic elements intact. All narratives are to last at least 3 hours and are to end with the phrase, "I forewent attachment and in doing so won against myself." And the last one was 400 Papilio Paris peacock butterfly larvae are to be introduced to the container for 1, along with 100 kilograms of standard nutrient substance 83N. The doors of the container are to be sealed for 14 days. Upon unsealing of the doors, D-class personnel equipped with butterfly nets are to attempt to recapture as many butterflies as possible. For a complete list of containment procedures, consult document 1474-8F. Recovery log. It was discovered by police at 5:30 a.m. September the 10th, 2000-something, somewhere in China. At the time of discovery, no part of the object was active. The container was opened by someone who mistook one for an explosive device. At 5:45 a.m., members of the local bomb squadron arrived to attempt to defuse it. A cordon was placed in a 400-meter radius around the object at 5:47, and civilians were evacuated. At 5:48, 1 and 2 became active, with 2 detailing that a papier-mâché mountain be built to cover it. Attempts to disarm or remotely detonate 1 proved ineffective, and at 6:48 a.m., approximately 10,000 liters of 3 was released into the park, leading to 17 casualties. At this time, several Foundation agents embedded in the Blank Police Department reported the incident, and the object was eventually taken into Foundation custody. Upon containment, a small placard was found inside 1. For further details, see document 29. And it says, "In solidarity with Zhu Lidao, Great Sage Equal of Heaven, Zhangsan 2508. Only what is clung to can be lost. Only what is trapped can escape." The first thing says, Chinese artist and political activist, arrested in 2005. Currently serving a 10-year prison sentence for disruption of political harmony and agitation against the state. And this says, a Chinese placeholder name used in a context similar to that of John Doe in English. Request F. After blank months and over something hundred different containment procedures for 1474, the time has come to reevaluate its nature. It is not simply an anomalous object, it is a work of art and must be viewed as such. The placard found within suggests that it is political in nature, specifically about a Chinese political prisoner. Its anomalous properties began to manifest the second that the police barrier around it closed, and have only continued despite our best efforts at containment. As a work of art, it is dependent on context. The context for the work is containment and imprisonment. If we no longer contain it, containment will cease to be an issue. Requesting permission to relocate 1474 outdoors in a non-enclosed area. Dr. Lomax. Request granted. SCP-1474 has been moved temporarily to Outdoor Storage Facility 3605 somebody. Addendum 87R. After several rounds of testing, it appears that 1474 ceases activity when not enclosed. For the past 5 weeks, 1 and 2 have been completely inactive. Propose changing containment procedures to reflect these findings. Request granted. So, that's the second time the People's Liberation Army has come up and appears to go nowhere. So maybe it'll come up more and eventually it's its own SCP that does matter. But then if that's the case, it would have been listed here as being one. So there's somehow, in the span of, I guess now 9,000 SCPs, 2 of them kicking around as the People's Liberation Army and there's nothing else about it? Strange. Very strange. However, if you liked this video, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you want to click the bell, that'll notify you of future uploads. It's supposed to. I don't know if it has been. But I will see y'all in the next one. Later.